Hello everyone. Whoa, my microphone is muchos loud. Maybe just tweak that down a little bit. There we go. How's it going everyone? Stevie here. You're here for another edition of my podcast. It is the podcast that has not got really much of a name yet because I'm still working on a name. I'm trying to rebrand everything just now. Let's put the public domain music down a bit for YouTube if they're listening. And if they're listening, that was public domain, by the way. And I am Scottish, not abusive. And this is some more public domain music, by the way. But without further ado, welcome to the podcast. As you know, you're here. My name's Stevie from Aberdeen. Stevie ABZ, as I'm trying to rebrand myself. If you've got anything you would like to email me into this show, you can contact me at podcasts@worldoftrash.co.uk. I am also on Twitter at Stevie C. Smith. I have a t-shirt shop because I'm trying to fund the podcast myself. Just go to Google, type in Imagine Stevie Redbubble, you'll find it. And last on the plugs, I have set up a Patreon page. Why have I set up a Patreon page? Right. I've created content for like 15 years, and I've never really tried to make anything off it, and I've never tried to have a go of it. About 2 years ago, I started a new YouTube channel based around me, Stevie, and not any sort of silly gimmicks. I made a tiny bit of money from that, and that was good. But recently, YouTube's told me that I'm not allowed to make anything else because I've not tried to get subscribers. So the hundreds of hours that I've spent, and it's not just me, there's tons of other creators in exactly the same issue. We're all screwed, basically. Mainly because if you're not monetized on YouTube, then your videos are not going to get in the search engines because YouTube wants to make money, so they're not going to show people videos that don't have adverts on them. Hence, all those little creators are screwed. But that's the rant. You can catch me on Patreon, patreon.com/StevieABZ. That is enough of the podcast plugs and all that sort of crap. This week, I am broadcasting live on, what's it called, Periscope. Freaking hell, I can't believe I forgot that. I'm live on Periscope this week as well. I thought I'd do a little video stream while I record everything. So if you're on Periscope just now, hello, you can see the elastic band on my microphone and everything. It looks super high tech, so if you want to watch, if you're watching live and you want to say anything to me, if you want to say anything, hit me up on Periscope, hit me up on Twitter. I am monitoring everything. But I'm not here to just sit on Periscope or talk about bloody YouTube screwing people over. I have a podcast to host. So, this week, we are taking a journey into the government's Freedom of Information Request database thing. Basically, in the UK, everyone has the right to ask government and local government and officials questions, and they've got to answer it. As long as it's not a secret, and that getting the answer doesn't take longer than, I think, 8 hours or something like that. They've got a budget. Then you get an answer. Now, this is a tool I use a lot. And I thought that because I'm in a bit of a holding pattern this week, I don't really have much of a podcast because I'm working on a few, so why am I in a holding pattern? I'm working on 2 different investigations just now, 2 podcasts. I'm working on one, a podcast on the online paedophile hunting groups. So I'm currently waiting to get interviews done on this topic. I've done a mad amount of research. This should be good. As long as I can get the interviews, it's going to be a great podcast. It's going to be an insight into the world of the online paedophile hunters. So I've told this idea to a few people just to separate it. I'm not looking into child abuse or anything like that. I'm separating it. What I'm looking at is the online paedophile hunters and what they do, what their motivation is, what's their background, what drove them to it. Well, maybe not what drove them to it, but get the background about the groups, how they started, how they operate, and what they think their world is going to be like going forward. So that's something I'm working on. Hopefully that'll be here in the next few weeks. Another one I'm working on is how to arm a despot country. So the reason I'm waiting on this one is I'm waiting on a Freedom of Information request. So I can't do nothing until I get the Freedom of Information request done. So in the meantime, I thought, Freedom of Information requests. Let's have a quick look through the Ministry of Defence's Freedom of Information Act request database. Long sentence. So what I've picked out today is a selection of random information requests. Now, I've went through them. It's information requests that all came through from the government for January. So these might have been reported at the end of last year, and they've just been published. So I was like, hey, let's see what secrets the government are publishing. I decided to focus just on the Ministry of Defence to see if there's anything funny, because it's the army. Why not have a look at the army? So that's what we're going to do. So, without further ado, what the hell is that? I thought that was music. Oh, it turns out that was just a podcast with a psychedelic song on it. Derp, derp, derp. Let's get some songs on. Because I can't handle the sound of my own voice. I drive myself crazy. Da, 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 da. See, this is the beauty of the podcast. The beauty. I could edit this stuff out, but I'm removing the fun if I take the crap out. So, no, I'll leave it in. This is a live show. Back to the show. So, Ministry of Defence. Our first request. Now, let's have a look. So, this was sent to the Ministry of Defence on the 1st of December 2017. Obviously, they don't show you the name of the people that sent that. That is confidential. But the question was as follows. So, this person has asked for details of the costs of VIP flights made by Voyager ZZ336, which is a military. It's an Airbus plane owned by the military. Usually, like used for freight and taking people from about the world, basically for transporting. So that's the word, transporting. It's for transporting soldiers and anything else. And they also do refueling missions and stuff. It's the ones you'll see with the big droog thing hanging off the back, flying, fueling planes in the air. What's that ticky noise? I digress. So, this person wanted to know the details of costs of the VIP flights made by Voyager ZZ36 since the RAF refueling aircraft was refurbished to carry members of the royal family and senior members of government. Now, I did not know that. I thought the government and the royal family had their own planes. I didn't realise they would be flying on military craft like this. So, following a previous FOI request, I have a list of VIP flights made by Voyager and would like the individual costs of each of the 12 flights listed. Could you please send me details of the refueling trips the aircraft has made since the 9th of August 2017, giving details of the date it flew, whether it was an operation, exercise, blah blah blah. So they're not going to tell you if there's an operation or an exercise, because that's like secret. I'm getting a like. Hey, hello to the person on Periscope. Thank you. But yeah, so before I even go into this, I'm going to think that they're not going to tell them about operations. They're not going to say, yeah, the plane was on a mission here. That's not going to happen. The military are never going to tell you that. That's like secret information. But let's have a look at what they've said back. So, this is in their words. I am treating your correspondence as a request for information under the Freedom of Information Act 2000. A search for information has been completed within the Ministry of Defence, and I can confirm that some information in scope of your request is held. Whoa, we got stuff. Someone's out from Kazakhstan. I've got someone looking from Kazakhstan. Yo, this is cool. But yeah, so firstly, they would like to point out that the Ministry of Defence does not routinely hold records of the cost of individual flights or individual aircraft. They don't hold cost of flights. So, first of all, they don't. So the army doesn't look at the costs of what their stuff costs. That just blows my mind. I would imagine that they thought they would have keeping costs, so they know what they've got to pay in the future. But I digress. I carry on. They carry on, I should say. That having been said, the Ministry of Defence seeks reimbursement of costs for the use of Voyager ZZ336 in the VIP role based on an agreement charge which covers elements such as the engineering costs, fuel, manpower, and other variable local costs such as landing fees, handling or parking, and I would imagine that like airport tax and that sort of stuff's got in there. Travel costs for ministers and royal household, including the use of Voyager, are withheld under Section 21, meaning they are secret. And there's a long list of other stuff here with other information and little things about it. So here's the people that obviously use it. The Chancellor of the Exchequer uses this flight. His Majesty's Ministers meeting hospitality gifts and overseas travel, so they use it for hospitality. Great. The Prime Minister uses it. Foreign Secretary uses it, so Boris uses it. Great. The Royal Household, and that's a pretty big list. So, details of refueling flights carried out by ZZ336 for a period of blah 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 to September 17 were given at Annex A, and it was released on my birthday in a Freedom of Information request. So I'm not going to go any further into this one because it just prattles on into government crap. So yeah, we found out the Air Force have converted a Voyager aircraft and they use it for flying Boris, the Prime Minister, the royal family, and hospitality on our money, and they don't even tell us what they're paying for this service. Quite frankly, I think that is BS. I think we should know how the public purse is being spent. That's... I mean, the royal family, do they not have their own airplane? I would have thought they had their own travel costs. They're not poor. The royal family can afford their own stuff. I mean, William can fly a helicopter. Why don't they just get a bloody helicopter? How will they fly them about? Future king and pilot. If you're on the Periscope, by the way, you can see my facial reactions to this, which are just silly. So that was the first one. We got some information there. We got a squeeze out. We found out that the government's got a plane that they use that's in the military, and they don't cover costs. So, moving on, we have another one to the Ministry of Defence. In the last 3 calendar years, 2015, 16 and 17, what has been done with all guns, weapons and other munitions, that is no longer fit for use? For instance, it might be that the makes of weapons are now outdated, that the weapons failed safety checks or no longer work. For this period, please outline the disposal costs for each year and how they're disposed. Also, please state whether companies who purchase the weapons are based in the UK or abroad. And there's other parts like, please state whether any of these weapons were donated to other nations or sold to other nations. And they ask, has the Ministry of Defence made any money from the sales of old weapons? And they want it all broken down. So this is interesting because this kind of ties into the investigation I'm working on into how to fuel a despot country. So I mean, can you fuel a despot country with second-hand guns from the Ministry of Defence? We are a way to find out. So, as per usual, first line, they're treating this as a Freedom of Information request. Well, duh. So, under Section 16, Advice and Assistance of the Freedom of Information Act, I have interpreted guns, weapons and other ammunitions to mean small arms and ammunition. Oh, what a bullshit. So, wait a minute. What a bullshit answer. They have taken what this person says. This person is asked about, right? Let's have a look at this. So, this person is asked very clearly for guns, weapons, and other ammunition no longer fit for use. He doesn't say small weapons or rifles or hand grenades. He just says ammunition. That counts everything. The Ministry of Defence have instantly, in the second paragraph, taken his words and twisted them. So he's not interpreted as all things. They've just said it means small arms and ammunitions carried by individual soldiers. They have not included weapon systems such as missiles, torpedoes, or artillery munitions. What the hell are they trying to hide? Like, seriously, what the hell are they trying to hide? Why have they got to do this? Why did they have to do this to this? There was no need for that. He asked very clearly for ammunition. So they go on. It might be helpful if first I explained that the Defence Equipment Sales Authority, part of the DE&S, disposes of defence equipment that is surplus to requirement for functioning and viable large capital assets such as ships or aircraft. So this department, they deal with everything that's out of use. Sup, another hello to Periscope. What up, dude? Do you know Korean Billy? Oh yeah, he's my best, but no, I don't actually, I'm lying. I don't know Korean Billy. Cool name though. But yeah, so they've got a department basically, Defence Equipment Sales Authority. Now, there's something I'm researching just now. And it just ties right into this because there's a fair every 2 years, and it's called the DSEI or something like that, and it's run by a company called Clarion. It's something I'm looking into just now. And that's like an exhibition where they sell weapons to other governments and stuff like that. Now, I'm pretty much sure that they're trying to hide that in this arms fair that's every 2 years, they probably sell the second-hand missiles, torpedoes and stuff to despot countries. Hence why they're hiding it. So I'm actually pretty angry about that one, because I mean, this is a long reply, this one. They've went to a lot of trouble to tell us every single part on how they dispose of small guns and bullets. They've not done anything else. So I mean, straight off the bat, I would be writing back to them, clarify, no, I want to know about missiles and torpedoes. So hopefully whoever made this request got as angry as I got there and just messages the MOD back and say, "Hoi, you, what are you playing at? That's bullshit." So while I was talking there, Periscope, someone mentioned Korean Billy. I didn't know who he was, but then he mentioned who he was. It's the guy on YouTube who does all the dialects. Now, he's cool. I've seen him doing the Aberdeen one. He did Doric, he's done Scouse, he's done Scousela. He's done the Scouse, he's done Lancashire. He's done a Lancashire accent, so he has. Oh, that was more Birmingham. I'm not very good at accents. But yeah, I've actually seen him, and his channel is really cool. If you like hearing what the world sounds like, then Korean Billy's podcast, vlog, whatever the hell it's called, YouTube channel, it's really good. I would recommend watching it. So, after the first two Ministry of Defence Freedom of Information Act requests we have done, they've been pretty dry. They've been a bit meh. But the next one now, we have a funny one now. So, this is dated the 19th of December 2017. This topic is funny. I laughed when I seen this one. Ministry of Defence Police refueling of... mis-refueling. Here's the question. 1. How many times in the last 3 years, including this current one, that would be 2017, have police vehicles in your force been misfueled, i.e. diesel in a petrol vehicle, or vice versa? So we're going to find out how many times the army police have been total idiots and misfueled a car and totally just wrecked it. 2. How much did your force spend in repairs to police vehicles that have been misfueled between last 3 years, including 2017? So, answer time. A search for your information has been completed by the Ministry of Defence Police, and I can confirm that we do hold information in scope of your request. Dyslexia. Number 1. How many times in the last 3 years have police vehicles been misfueled? In the last 3 years, police vehicles have been misfueled 4 times. 4 times. Periscope people, don't say what I just did there, please. I can't count. 4 times. 4 police vehicles have been wrecked. Oh my god. 2. How much did your force spend repairing these vehicles? Well, freaking hell, the force has spent £7,566.21 in repairs to police vehicles that have been misfueled in the last 3 years. Hello to the watchers, by the way. Hello to Periscope. Hello, you're all cool. Man, I can't believe that. I'm not going to try and do the maths off the top of my head, but that's nearly £2,000 per car. £2,000 per car, so just reel back. I'm trying not to laugh at this. This is actually it's quite funny to know that even within the Ministry of Defence Police, that will have departments that are there to do all this. That song I'm listening to just now is just horrible. I'm just going to stop that. So yeah, they've got departments that look after the cars. All the cars and trucks and everything will have big stickers on them saying, this is a petrol car, or this is a diesel truck. I mean, if you're driving a 10-ton truck, it's going to be pretty obvious that it's not petrol. But somehow, in the last 3 years, including 2017, of course, the Ministry of Defence Police have wrecked 4 cars. Round of applause to the Ministry of Defence Police. They have totaled 4 cars in 3 years. costing the public £7,566.21. Good show, Ministry of Defence Police. That is how you spend the public's money properly. None of that. I mean, buying a sticker for each car would have cost like £2 each. They could have spent £8. £8. And these stickers could have been in every language. Every language under the sun. £8 stuck on the side of an army truck. Petrol. Gasolina. Diesel. I don't know any foreign words for diesel. If you know a foreign word for diesel and you're watching, tell me in the chat, because I don't have a clue. But yeah, they could have spent like £8 and stopped this happening. I would have done it for £4. I would have done it £1 a sticker. But no. So if there's any Ministry of Defence Police that listen to this, especially if you work in that the department that had to fix this issues, consider investing in a printer and maybe some of those sticky things that you can print stickers onto. Stick them in the vans and say, don't fill me with diesel or petrol. It's bloody insane. I can't believe it. You would think the army would know how to refuel a truck or car. Anyway, that's that one. I need to move on because I only want to do like half an hour at a time. And I need to move on. So, next up is a Freedom of Information request. Now, this is dated an email the 17th of October. So, this person would like to know how many times Southern Diving Unit 1 in Plymouth were called to action from October 1st, 2016 to October the 1st the following year. By the way, hello to all the people watching whose first date is on Periscope. I've seen quite a few of these pop up while I've been streaming, and that's cool because it means people are coming in and watching and having a laugh. So, well done for coming to Periscope. Here's my big ass thumb in the camera. If you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to start doing this every week, by the way, like Thursday around about dinner time, UK time. I'm going to do it live, just for bants. So, back to the request. So, yeah, this person's asked about Southern Diving Unit 1 and when they were called to action from October the 1st to October the 1st, 2017. As part of this brief summary of when and where the team were deployed, a short description of the incident and what action the team undertook. So, of course, line 1, this request is being treated as under the Freedom of Information Act. Yeah, we know that. We know that. So, let's have a look. As explained in the interim reply to you of 14th of November 17, a search was completed within the Ministry of Defence information in scope of your request. Information in scope of your request is held. However, consideration of the information following a public interest test has confirmed that some of the information falls within the scope of the qualified exemptions under Section 24, National Security, and Section 26, Defence. So, what can we gain from this? Divers were sent out to the, I guess it's in Plymouth, I guess it's Plymouth Harbour, which I know they base a lot of big ships there. There's like aircraft carriers and loads of big army. I mean, they build boats down there, so that makes sense. So, they don't say why, but this specialist diving team has been called out to Plymouth Harbour within that year. But they're not, so they can tell us it's happened. They're not doing the old, we can't confirm or deny it. They're at least saying, look, this happened. But then they're saying it's a secret. So, that raises the question. This is obviously why this person's asking. Because this person obviously stays in Plymouth or something, I'm guessing stays in Plymouth, and has seen this specialist army divers in the water near his. Well, when he's been out for a walk, I don't know. Who knows what the guy's been doing? Maybe he sits at the harbour and looks at boats all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. I would gladly do that. But this person clearly seen something and thought, hey, hang about. He's already asked them about it, which is funny. And they've already told him, look, it's a secret. But I like that he's tenacious. He's trying to ask things that he thinks can get around this. But no, they're not getting it. So what could it have been? I mean, is this some sort of terrorist plot we didn't hear of? One of these secret ones that we never hear of? Who knows? I mean, logically, let's think about this one logically, right? Plymouth is where they build a lot of big ships. There's a lot of big military ships based in Plymouth. They do a lot of navy things in Plymouth. So it stands to reason that if they think anything suspicious is happening there in the water, they are going to send Southern Diving Unit 1 to the scene to investigate. So I think it's probably just that. Most likely, they were just training. Because, I mean, these people have to train as well. They can't just sit. I mean, once you learn to be a diver, that's not it. You don't learn to do something then not do it. Once you learn to do something, you have to keep doing it and keep doing it so your competency stays up, and if possible, you get better at it. So I think what's happened here is they're probably based down there because they're the Southern Diving Unit. So Southern, Plymouth's in the south, so they're probably based in that area. I would imagine a good place for them to do their training and stuff would be close to the Navy so they could look for certain things, or they maybe know there's things in that area which they go and look at. So I think that's what this one is. That's my educated guess. Yes, it is a secret as to why Southern Diving Unit 1 is going to Plymouth within that year space of time, but I don't think there's anything nefarious to this. And if there is, it was probably to protect the Navy, because that is a big area with the Navy. So what time is it? So we're at 26 minutes here. 26 minutes. So I think I'm going to go through 2 more. So what ones will I go for? No, I've got 3 more. Let's see if I can get through 3 more in the next 5. I can go as long as I want. It's my freaking podcast. So anyway, the next one, we're getting into crime territory now. We're in crime. Ministry of Defence. This one is dated. So this is in reply to a request made by email, which, if you, by the way, for Freedom of Information requests, all you need to do is email. You can email the department. If you want to know which department to email, just Google the government department, FOI at the end, hit enter, and you'll get the address for it. I think the government's got a catch-all for Freedom of Information requests. If it's your local council, you just send them to your council's Freedom of Information or Data Protection team, and they can normally forward it on. But everyone can do this, and I urge people, if you've got a question for government or your local council, ask it. Because if you don't ask the question, you'll never know the answer. And that's what I do. I annoy my local council like... I was about to swear there. I annoy my local council a lot into giving me information. And they give me it, which is pretty funny, because they could quite easily tell me to piss off. But no, the law's the law. Someone popped up in Periscope there while I was talking. Thank you for the compliment. He said it was very entertaining. Well, thank you very much. You're a very good... Not a customer. What? I've forgotten how to talk today. You're a very good viewer. Thumbs up again. So, let's have a look at this request. This request concerns... Should I do an accent for this one? This request concerns the number of civilians who have been suspended or fired due to the criminal prosecutions and convictions. Please state the number of civilian servants working for your department who were fired for being convicted of criminal offences. It kind of fell apart there, eh? Try to do Scouse, it fell apart at the end. Please provide a breakdown of the offences for which these civil servants were convicted. Please provide information for each of the last 3 financial years and current year. Please state the number of civil servants currently suspended with pay awaiting outcome of a criminal trial. Please provide a breakdown of the offences for which these civil servants are awaiting trial, and how much civil servants are suspended with pay waiting for the outcome of a criminal trial. So this is all about crimes that have happened within the civil service. Now, this is went to the Ministry of Defence, so I'm guessing this is to do with Ministry of Defence staff only. I don't think this is not like DWP or anything like that. I think this is all just the Ministry of Defence's civil servants. So, let's have a look at the answer for this, because this could be an interesting one. Another first day user on Periscope. Yo, I like seeing that. That's cool. It makes me think I'm attracting people to Periscope and attracting people here. And I'm getting a brown heart on the screen, and I like that. The brown heart. At least it's not the brown noise, eh? So, question 1. Please state the number of civil servants working in your department that were fired for being convicted of criminal offences, and please provide a breakdown for it for the last 3 years. Here is the answer. During the last 3 financial years, there have been 10, and there's a star next to that. Now, where is the star? In line with department, the policy values have been rounded to the nearest 5. So it could be, this could be anything between 10 and 15, basically. It's more government bullshit, spinning numbers. So I don't know why they couldn't have just gave us a 12. It's not like it's thousands of people there. It's just... So, between 10 and 15 people are recorded on the human resource management system as being dismissed following a criminal conviction or caution. There is a caveat to this information in that it is dependent on the case being entered into the HRMS by the HR consultants and the correct category recorded. So, if the people that are in court have never told their bosses, or if their HR managers and bosses within the civil servants, within the Ministry of Defence, have not heard of this crime, then it's not, obviously not counted, because they don't know about it and they've successfully hidden it. So let's have a look at the table below now. They have not given us the number of crimes that have happened in each of these. They've just given us a list of the crimes that have happened. Obviously, we're around it. It's between 10 and 15 crimes have happened, but it's in order, so I'm guessing that it goes from top to bottom, most to least. So let's have a look. So, offences civil servants were convicted in the last 3 financial years are downloading indecent images, theft of MOD equipment, people stealing guns, sex offences, criminal damage, idiots, drink driving, super idiots, ABH whilst under the influence of fighting and beating people up, and harassment, creepy bastards. So that's the crimes. That's everything that our civil servants within the army have been charged for in the last couple of years. In the last, what is it, 3 years? Yeah. So there we go. They've not provided anything else there. They've just given us that in the number 10. So they went straight on to question 2 here. So they're obviously they don't want to tell us all this sort of stuff, but they're grudgingly giving us this information here. This is what I love about FOI requests, because you can tell that the person writing them didn't want to give us information. They wanted to keep this information secret, but by law they have to because it's easy to find. Question 2. Please state the number of civil servants currently suspended with pay awaiting the outcome of a criminal trial. B. Provide a breakdown of the offences for these civil servants. So, answer. In line with current policy on rounding figures, I can confirm that less than 5 employees are currently suspended with pay. Why didn't they just tell us the number? It's less than 5. Could they not have just said 2 or 3? But yeah, there are less than 5 employees currently suspended with pay awaiting the outcome of a criminal trial within the Ministry of Defence. Ooh, the offences for which these civil servants are awaiting trial are racially aggravated. Wait a minute. They've effed up here. The idiots. So, unless every person that is awaiting trial just now is waiting trial for the same racially aggravated affray, it looks like there is only one person currently suspended with pay in the Ministry of Defence just now, and it is for racially aggravated affray. Yeah. Can't believe he's still getting paid for that. Wow. So, within the Ministry of Defence Civil Service, there is someone who's currently suspended with pay until a case goes to court. What the F? Surely you would just... So if he's innocent, he's going to have gone all this time getting paid and suspended. Wow. Wow. Racially aggravated as well. You would think that racially aggravated crime would be an instant no-no. They'd be like, psh, you can't do racially aggravated crime when working in the government. That's just stupid. But this is a Tory government. This is Theresa May's government. And as we know, Theresa May's government gets away with whatever the F it wants. So, what's that one? Number 3. Please state the number of civil servants currently suspended without pay awaiting the outcome of a criminal trial and provide a breakdown. Guess what? They have got no one suspended without pay. So there's this one person, this one racist person within the ministry. Well, sorry. There's this one potentially quote-unquote racist person who's sitting at home getting paid, not working, waiting for his case to go to court. This is why I looked at this. This makes me angry. Why is this person getting paid to sit at home when he's waiting to go to court for a racially aggravated crime? And like, what happens if he's guilty? If he's guilty, will they have to pay that money back? Or is that... Sorry, are we just funding racists to sit at home while we struggle to make a living? I mean, what the heck? What the heck, man? I mean, not to get all self-centered and stuff like that, but for me personally, because I'm like full-time education, it's hard to get a job that can fit round my schedule. I tried to get money from the government, like I've got ADD and I get depression and stuff. I tried to get money, like, because it's it's stressful. I get anxiety and stuff trying to do stuff. But no, I got no help. Last summer, I got no help. I had no money for the whole summer. Basically got told no in a letter from the government. No help in the slightest. The worst summer ever. And people they're allowed to sit at home and do this sort of crap. It's like, what? So what? People like me have worked and paid money into the system and stuff like that. And we don't get help for freaking anything. But this potential racist is allowed to get money from us. You and me and you. Scandalous. Scandalous. I hope that when this case happens that this person is outed in the minute that they publicly acknowledge that this person has been sacked. Because it's just horrible. That's just terrible. So while I was on that rant there, someone popped up in Periscope saying Union. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean Union Street? I am unsure. So a very quick one here, because I'm just going to... What time is it? Oh my god. So quickly, let's see if we can get through this one. Now this next one, this is about... It's another crime, but the last two are all about crimes. So the next one, sexual offences. Since its inception in 2003, how many reports of sexual offences under Section 3-66 and 67 of the Sexual Offences Act 2003 have the Ministry of Defence Police recorded? And we have an answer, I think. Do we? No. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there's an attached document that I don't have. Let's see if I can get that attached document. Where's my attached document? Oh, let's have a look. What's it say anyway? We'll see if I can see what it says. I've possibly missed out a document. They do hold information on that. Oh, I'm going to have to go and do that. So, What year was that? Let's have a look. Here we go. I found it. Don't worry. Wait a minute. There's no attached document. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Now, someone in Periscope's racist in stars. Yes, racist in stars. As in potential racist. But you never know. I mean, I know people in the army that are the best people on the planet. But as you know, you see them on social media, or we see them. Is it maybe a lie though? I don't know. Who knows? But we do have the stats. So let's go back to the answer to this one because I got sidetracked. How many sexual offences have been recorded by the Ministry of Defence Police since 2003? So let's have a look. Now we have a breakdown all the way back to 2003. How many? No, this doesn't say it's been rounded up or anything like that. This just has that. Now, so I've got a large table here now. It's divided into 3 sections. We have voyeurism, exposure, and sexual assault. Yuck, and triple yuck. This is dated from years 2003 to 2017. Now, let's start on voyeurism. How many people... Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this, then I'll give you a second. I'll give you a little second to have a think, and then I'll give you the answer. And you can know if you were right or wrong, and if you're surprised, then you can tell me. If you're surprised by the answers of this, send me a tweet. Tell me about it at Stevie C. Smith. I love to hear about it. So, Section 67, voyeurism. How many people in the Ministry of Defence Police... No, sorry, I'll rephrase that. How many people have the Ministry of Defence Police Force recorded and charged for voyeurism? Answer, 24 people. 24. So, the Ministry of Defence Police... since 2003 has only charged 23 people with voyeurism, like peeping toms and stuff like that. Someone had 2 million. Man, see, voyeurism, I mean, that's like peeping toms and people looking through windows. I would have thought that would have been higher. Maybe people just don't report it enough. Maybe this happens a lot in the army. But it's the army. I mean, I don't know. It's a hard one. I mean, in a lot of the army situations, they're around each other in close contact anyway. So, I mean, they're always kind of watching each other. But at the same time, would that be like watching people in the shower? Watching people through windows? Yuck. So, next up, exposure. Flashers. How many flashers are there within the Ministry of Defence's records from 2003? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer. 3, 2, 1. The answer: 41 people have been charged by the Ministry of Defence Police since 2003 for exposure. Yeah. I wonder if that's like, Like, for exposure, does that count as sending a dick pic? Is that exposure? I don't know. I would imagine it is, because you're exposing yourself. It's creepy as hell, man. It's creepy as hell. But now, let's get to the serious one. This is the really serious one, because this is Section 3, sexual assault. Full-blown sexual assault. So, since 2003, how many reports of sexual assault have the Ministry of Defence Police recorded? I'll give you a few seconds to think up an answer for this one. Okay, so the answer, 150. Nasty. So that's quite damning. I mean, if we look through this, the worst year on record that the Ministry of Defence Police had for reports of sexual assault being recorded were 2007. There was a peak there. Like 2003, there was nothing reported for anything. No crimes were reported in 2003 for some reason. Strange. It's probably because the law must have came in later on in the year. I don't know. I'd have to go and check. 2004, there was 12. 2005, 27. 2006 went down, but then 2007 it jumped up 28. Thankfully, nowadays, for the last, like 2015, there was 5 sexual assaults recorded. 2016, less than 5. And 2017, there was less than 5. So it's a problem that has been dealt with. But it's definitely a problem that's been there. But thankfully, it is a problem that the Ministry of Defence has clearly been trying to deal with. They've been recording the crimes, and it has been going down year on year since 2007. So, good work on that, Ministry of Defence Police. It's good to see you're doing stuff. That is good. That's really good. So lastly, this has went longer than I thought. Last one, and we're on to the topic of drugs. The drug testing. So, this one was submitted on the 23rd of November. Could you please provide the number of soldiers who were subjected to drug testing from 30th of June 2017 to present? And of those, how many tests indicated a soldier had misused drugs or a substance? And if possible, could you provide further information as to which drugs were found in those tests? And how many of these soldiers were sacked, i.e. discharged? So let's have a look at this, and hopefully there's a chart. I hope it's like the last one and there's a graph, because that makes it so much easier. So, we do. We have loads of stats here. So, first of all, there's also a question about Army Reservists here, but I'll leave that one. So, a search for the information has been completed. We know that. And they confirm there's information in scope of your request held and provided below. CDT, so that's drug test failure, may take time to investigate. Therefore, it has not been possible to provide data on discharge decisions. Once discharge decisions have been made on this cohort of personnel, blah 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 blah, they get sacked and it'll be on record. But the person's made a bit of an error here, because he or she has only asked for the information from 30th of June 2017 to present. Now that's a big mistake, because you're asking for discharges. Now, if someone's going to be discharged from the army for a drug offence, first he's going to have to fail a test, and he may well be charged and have to go to like army jail because he's been caught with drugs or done a drug crime. So within the army, that's not seen very well. So they'll have to go through all that procedures first before they can discharge someone. So I understand why there's no numbers on who's been discharged and when, because you can't get them, because the person's not asked for a long enough scope of time. So my top tip, if you're doing a Freedom of Information request, is always ask for like a 3-year block or a 4-year sample block, because that way you can see what's happened in the previous years and you can kind of work out what's been happening. So the results: number of compulsory drug tests, CDTs, between the 1st of July and 31st of October, and how many of those were positive. Now, here's another few numbers. How many drug tests do you think the Ministry of Defence done on soldiers between that July, August, September, October 4-month period? Now, this is actually, I am surprised at this number. What do you think? So, the number of compulsory drug tests between the 1st of July and the 31st of October 2017 were 22,910. That's a lot of drug tests, especially in a 4-month period. But as I say, This is not because they're suspicious or anything like that. This is compulsory drug tests. So it's good to see that they're doing compulsory drug tests so often on soldiers. And that's really cool. And let's see how many soldiers have failed their drug tests within that period of time. We've got 22,910 tests. I'm not going to work out the percentage, but I'll just tell you the number. The number of positives, soldiers that have been caught with drugs in their system, 220. It could have been 420. Why could they not have just said 420, lied, and give us a funky number? But no. 220 soldiers have been caught with drugs in their system through the Army's compulsory drug testing procedures. And that is me done with this week's reading and podcast and speaking, because my throat is starting to go. This has been the longest podcast I've done since the year started, which has only been about 3 weeks, so that doesn't say much to go with my memory. But yeah, thank you for listening. To everyone on Periscope that's been watching live, thank you, because it's been cool having people pop up and engage with me. As I said, if you want to follow me, if you want some banter, you want to talk about the show, anything I've talked about, you can email me at podcasts@worldoftrash.co.uk. The best place to catch me is on Twitter, at Stevie C. Smith. And if you're feeling generous, you want to contribute to the podcast, help the podcast grow, and help me get my documentary finished, which has been a pain in the balls, then check out my Patreon, patreon.com/StevieABZ. And that'll be me. Oh! Before I go, these are the drugs found in the compulsory drug test: amphetamines, benzodiazepines, cannabis, cocaine, ecstasy, ketamine, and steroids. Who would have thought there's soldiers on steroids? Duh! I'll see you all later next week. Take it easy, people. It's been a pleasure.